advice of remuneration and benefits for state officers and other public officers as outlined in Article 235 of Constitution of Kenya 2010. Further, the SRC has taken into account Section 12(1) of the SRC Act of 2011, which outlined the principle of equity in remuneration and benefits. I know there's much that has been incorporated in this particular letter, and still much more that has, informed this decision by SRC. But then again, we come back to that fact on the aspect of timing. I mean, you do not want to tell me that these clauses did not exist before that declaration by President Uhuru Kenyatta. And so, in a way, we'd say that Mheshimiwa here is justified in questioning the procedure probably, and the timings, and the fact that, it looks like it was, a declaration by the President who has the right to do that. But then again, probably not in the, after being twisted, that, if you don't do this, if this does not sail through, if it's a conversation from 2014, then evidently he was told probably you have to make sure that this goes through so that we can talk matters BBI. Or we'd want to assume.
Last week when I was here, I said the matter of car grants with MCAs, it's like those aunties on a wedding day. It's just an opportunity for them to ask for something that is not so serious. Okay. Yet it's it's a way of saying, sir, okay, we are here, and like Mheshimiwa is here saying, we haven't seen you for so long, we haven't had an opportunity to talk to you, we've been pushing for this thing behind the scene. It's not like the County Assembly's Forum have not been following up on that matter. Okay. I'm sure they have been doing it, and their chairs and the rest can do it. So it only came into the limelight because of an open public meeting. Mm-hmm. When we look at the fear of competition that has been, that's been spoken about here, mm-hmm. I can remember enough times MPs have blackmailed government, starting with their loans, starting with their grants, going to their allowances, going to their pensions, going to their... Former councillors have been fighting for their pensions since 2015.
Is it so, Honorable Gakuyu?
Yes, but Senate has deliberately refused to pass that motion, because it doesn't concern them at the moment. But when it comes to the allowances, I remember 2017 when they were postponing the qualification for you to vie. They all agreed. And I remember Duale saying, for the sake of our honorable members who are not yet graduates, let's push this law to 2022 so that they can have 5 years to go back to school. Mm-hmm. Look at that hypocrisy. And they all passed. In 2018, they all went back to school, and we've seen them going for graduations one after the other. We did not complain. Even if we knew it was, even if we knew it would bring some incompetency in the House. But it was okay for them. They did not object. Yeah. When they were talking about extending their allowances, it was okay. Mm-hmm. When they were talking about the set-off package, it was okay. Even house allowance. Mm-hmm. House allowances, it was okay. That time, haikuwa siasa. Haikuwa ni pesa ya Wanjiko. Unaona, that time it was not. 2010 Constitution envisioned all this. And was so clear that the roles of any legislature has nothing to do with finances in it. What did what did the National Assembly do? They enacted the CDF Act to National Government Constitutional Development Fund, and they made themselves part and parcel of it by law. That time, haikuwa siasa.
Okay.
So
this time around,
because the MCA, I'm not an MCA. Most probably, I do not aspire to be one.
Yes.
But we must be fair to all.
In fairness, the SRC takes cognizance of the similarity of the roles of the legislatures at the county and national levels. It should be noted that the category of benefits to the legislatures at the county and national levels are similar, with the exception of transport facilitation benefit car grant that is provided to the legislatures at the national level. And so, isn't it only fair that yes,
I am not against that.
Yes, you said so.
Me, I am only against the hypocrisy between these. Yes,
okay.
Where was here the head of states have 80 years in office.
Yes.
do you want to tell the commission is yesterday when he directed this, is when they realized that there's a silent clause in the law. Is this when they realized? The MCAs have been fighting up and down with CRC.
Yes.
Where are they crossing the ears then?
Until
is it until when the president said
power spoke?
Linda,
As we close on this
it is good that Honorable Gakuya has confirmed that he has no issues with this car grant.
Yes.
His problem is timing.
Right.
That why is it now? And I want to remind him that as legislatures who are in the lower level, we have nobody to push our issues. He is aware that we have been pushing this thing for many years. Okay. It's not a story of yesterday. It has been there. The County Assemblies Forum has been all over pushing for this. Yeah. Even as late as last year, we were in another forum in Mombasa with the governors. We still pushed for it. It got stuck. So what is the problem if you have an opportunity to meet with our big brother and he says he's going to lobby on our behalf to ensure that SRC gives us this letter? We are equally leaders like them. We need to serve our people the way they are serving their people. The roles are the same, as similar. And in fact, if they are forgetting, ours, we serve these people every day. Them, they see them probably once in a month.
All right.
As we see these people every day.
Some don't even go home.
Some even don't go home.
Okay.
So when they are saying they have issues with the timing, then there is time for everything.
Well, at least with him, he's always with his
you see now,
he's always
President
Kang'ata
does not go to Savannah State Lodge every year.
Time, yes.
He goes there once in a while. So it's an opportunity that he was there and he was reminded there's something we've been pushing. Why can't you help us? Because you live in Nairobi with these SRC fellows. Why can't you help us push this thing? It's been long overdue.
Yes.
It's our right.
Yes.
It's not a favor that MPs are doing for us. It's our right. Like them, they have their right. They have swallowed it. In fact, Linda, let me tell you where hypocrisy is. Hypocrisy is in the members of parliament. Like I saw one of them called, somebody from Moranga, Kagema or somebody. I saw him go and assemble his constituents somewhere and tell them ati mungepatia hata hawa 10,000 na amekula milioni 7. Why did he come home with the 7 million and share with these people? He wants to share ours when he has swallowed his. You know where he lies. So I want members of parliament to be fair.
Reader, personally, I'm not even blaming them serious.
Yes.
But I'm blaming the one who made the directions, the directives.
That is
yes, because the procedure was long. Yes, take into consideration that he was pushed, and this telling me that he will be making roadside directives after being pushed. And this is wrong for the head of state.
All right,
it's not the
we
right
hope that we can pick lessons from there.
Finally, as I address my final statement on this, there is a big elephant in the house in National Assembly. Yeah. This is what we call marriages. Marriages are being enjoyed by few. Okay. People from Nairobi and neighboring, we get zero marriage. Are we not equal members? But like the rest who are getting 1 million every month out of marriages. This matter is lying with SRC.
But why would you want the same amount to the person who's traveling?
If there is a route...
Linda, the English word mileage means distance. When you have no distance, why would you that is now eating into NG.
You want to tell me that eating into NG. Let me tell you, even though I have that kilometer, that's a mileage. Okay. Yes. What's the mileage? Let me get the retro I am supposed to have. Yes.
After all, I'm looking at that unfairness. Okay. And what Mheshimiwa here is saying is that unfairness is what we should be looking at.
Embrace, yes.
And embrace. Because I don't see why an MP from Northeastern, like Namandera, should get $1 million at the end of the month for traveling. Yeah. Then, and it's the same fairness that BBA is talking about, 1 man, 1 vote, 1 sharing. Because the same MP, the same citizen in Mandera gets 30,000 for bursaries. Yes. Yet, Mheshimiwa Gakuya here, yes, the distance from Parliament to his constituency may be 40 km, but he might be doing 10 rounds in a day. Let's be fair. Right. He might be doing 10 rounds in a day. Okay. Akobunge ameambiwa, moto. Then back. Then back. So he might be doing 10 rounds in a day, while the MP in Northeastern is doing 1 round per month. But because they have mastered the art of doctoring documents, So they are able to claim 1 million of not going.
Yet you claim 0?
Yet he claims 0. So
and this fellow does not step up to Nairobi.
Yes, he does not. Yes,
and
for
he
a
has
whole
that
month.
1
But
million
every
You justify that.
yes. So now it is the same in the same line.
Okay.
I'm looking at when I'm supporting MCAs to get their car grant. I've been into politics, and I know what it takes to be an MCA in the village. My mom was a councillor for 10 years, and I can't remember a day we took breakfast as a family alone. For 10 years, I was home.
Right.
So it's something that I've experienced as a child.
There are always people.
There are always people in your house. You know, you abandon all the small sufurias. You abandon having eggs in the morning, unless you want to do a crate or a number of them. Let's be fair, and let Kenyans also own up that if you don't want these MCAs and MPs to keep on asking for more money, you as a citizen, you as a Kenyan, also behave and stop disturbing them for roles that are not within their constitutional mandate.
Okay.
I want to advise the members of parliament. You know, you're a lady.
Yes.
You know, when you go to a wedding, probably you've not known this. I want to tell you today is that when you go to a wedding, at the end of it, when now people want to leave, there's a stage where the bride now throws the flower back.
Yes.
And the friends who are the back, one of them
eagerly waiting to
get the flower.
Yeah. Yes.
And it is said that the one who will get that flower will be the next in wedding. Is that true?
Yes, that's what they say.
So I want to tell them that instead of fighting us,
the flower
this should just accompany us to the wedding and stand behind. When we throw the flower, they'll also get. So their mileage will also be given to them.
Yes.
Fighting us does not give them theirs.
All right.
They should support us so that they are good people. So next time the president makes a pronouncement, it will be them.
Okay.
But you can't be seen to be fighting the man who makes statement. Then you want to claim you are bitter that yours has not been given to you. It doesn't work like that.
But
you must be seen to support others, then you are supported.
It seems to be in agreement to that.
No, surely. Let me say this.
Yes.
Actually, I have been in this particular situation, and it is true. I totally concur with Honorable Manjiwa that actually there is a lot of strain in issues to do with dealings with the MCA's job. Taking consideration, and especially in the Nairobi, where people eat from their pocket. Don't forget that in fact most of the MCAs leave from their doorstep early before 4 p.m.
Because
before
but why does it have to be that? You know, that is also one thing we need.
Because
is it politics of handouts or what? Why does it have to be that?
That MCA is leaving as early as 4 a.m. Because as at that 4 a.m. last night, he slept at midnight sorting issues, social welfare issues. 4 a.m. there are people coming as if between midnight and 4 a.m. this MCA went somewhere and dug money. What
is so hard in acknowledging that we do not have this money? Look at this. Standoff looms over 370 billion devolved units. This is in regards to monies, and senators are raising an alarm that probably what it is that was the agreement will not reach the counties. And so what is so hard in acknowledging and telling the people that this money that you're looking for is not here?
Well,
fear that you're not going to be elected back?
It's not in the Kenyan culture.
Okay.
Kenyan culture, they believe that when you have elected a leader, that should be your savior.
All right.
When any problem knocks your door, you knock their door. That is how Kenyan have been brought up.
So how do we run away from this culture?
These people we elect today, tomorrow they'll be my savior tomorrow. So you can't tell Kenyans that they have elected you and they have problems and they don't come to you because you don't have money. You having money or not having the money is not their business. You have the seat, and they know that seat is what you should use to get for them their welfare. And that's why you see members of county assembly have problems, because these people live with them in the same villages. So they wake up in the morning at 6 or 4 a.m. in the morning just to catch up with them before they leave, because some of them will leave very early because of the fear of the crowd. Sometimes you are expected into a meeting and your house is crowded, you can't leave. You have to serve them first before you leave for that meeting.
If this money is not in existence, but you still serve them, where does the money come from? Where does this help come from? Do you get into your salaries? Is this then what encourages corruption?
You know what you do is you serve with what you have, including your salary. You know, sometimes you probably even have some small allowances from work. You use that one. And that is why you see MCAs most of the time, they are one-time politicians.
Okay.
Because you will not have enough money to serve these people. And once you don't serve them the way they expect, next time they want to try another person. Okay. They say, huyu tulimchagua na hajatusaidia. It's not because you've not built roads. It's not because you've not built hospitals. They are there. But to them, they believe. Let me tell you a story, Linda. Somebody one day told me when I was doing roads in my ward that I cannot bend this stomach you're putting here and put in a sufuria and put water for my children,
for my children to eat.
So it means even when I'm busy doing the road, I'm doing nothing.
Okay.
What they consider most is their stomach. What I give them to buy food in the evening, that makes sense to them more than the roads. And that is why MCAs have this problem, because people believe they're the ones who should help them in small issues. Daily activities are supposed to be financed by politicians. That's the belief down there.
I guess we are better off on this end. Politics doesn't seem to be sweet after all.
That's the danger of having a campaign mood every year in, every year out. When Mheshimiwa Gakuya here and Mheshimiwa here, they elected on 2017, people who lost start campaigning in 2018. Then they are coming a presidential candidate for 2022, starting campaigning in 2018. A governor aspirant starts campaigning immediately 2018. And when the political parties, the Register of Political Parties and IBC and EACC do not take action, they encourage all that what we are complaining about. So the incumbent has people and has opponents for 5 years to deal with. Then the people take advantage of that and start blackmailing the incumbent and other aspirants. When I lost in 2018, the number of calls I was getting, sasa mheshimiwa sasa na sijui tuanze campaign mapema. So practically all what they are telling me is come, we disrupt the incumbent. Yeah, they voted for him. So when you combine all those factors, then you cannot run away from the fact that citizens are encouraging corruptions within the political circles. That is my conclusion.
Right. Okay. Well,
Linda, that has been cemented. That's the correct position, and it's very good. My panelists understand this very well, and that's how it works. And I can understand the pressure under the leadership of the MCAs, and I have no problem. I'm only blaming the directives and the manner it was done, and the timing of it, and the element being tagged under the element of passing the BB.
If such was done for you to get your mileage, what would you say?
But Linda, let me tell
you say no?
I am not going to gang the president in that direction in any manner. Yes, and I believe that my conscience, my conscience cannot allow me to go that direction. But to sum up, let me say this. I believe Honorable Wajua has stated very clearly, my friend has stated very clearly, but this culture, what do we do with this culture? This culture is a culture which belongs from the old regimes to date. And it's not soon that we are going to kill it. And let me tell you, there is no way that we are going to expect to go to ask for a vote and get a full basket of votes for free. So you must prepare yourself in this way. Whether anti-corruption or Rebek will put a lot of conditionalities. Don't bribe, don't do what. Under the carpet, this has to go on.
This has to go on.
You know, in the BBI, we have a chapter that has borrowed from the Article 43 of the Constitution, where now members of the Country Assembly are going to be given funds that they can even enable their people to do business. They can cater for their medical issues. I know those are most of the things that bring people to their houses. If somebody has a sick person, they don't have money to take the patient to the hospital. The Mamamboga want to do business, they don't have money to start doing those small businesses. Now under the BBI, we have a chapter that has given us this opportunity that will also be able now to ensure that our people are capacitated to do businesses. Their medical welfare will also be taken care of. And that is one of the reasons that I want MPs to support BBI. If they don't know the secrets in that document, then they should get copies and know what is in that document. Because there are more that is so beautiful in that document that if they are given that this is what we want, I'm telling you, Linda, and I'm telling you today, you'll remember, one of these days, some of these MPs will want to come back to the position of MCAs.
Because
it will have less pressure. It will have less pressure because the docket has been financed so that people will be serviced without them coming to you directly.
Okay.
There's provision, and will be within the law, you'll be providing for them their needs without you necessarily going to your pocket. So you will not be waking up at 4 in the morning to run away from them. We will be waiting for them
Is that
to
what
give us their
happens,
to
by
give
the
us
way?
their yeah, it happens.
Okay.
Let me tell you, there are members of county assembly who, even where they live, they go actually around midnight. Na wanaenda na pikipiki ndio asijulikane ni yeye. Na anaamuka saa 10 atoke ndio asijulikane ni yeye ametoka.
But anyway, I would relate because more or less the same thing happens with the media fraternity. When they see you on screen, they want to assume that yes, you are well, gelled. And so in that case, yes, it's true. It is very true.
It's not rosy.
Let's but equally you mnaenda kutafuta pesa.
No, hakuna kazi Kenya.
It is not rosy, but then again you just go for it.
Hata hii yako ni moja. Siwezi kuja hapa unikwambie utoke nikalie.
Rita, I can tell you there before, there was a good opportunity when this country was the population was lower, and those members of parliament, though they had small earnings from their allowances, actually they had big chunk of that. Depending on, like Nairobi, people like Mwenje, Mahuri Moshire, and the rest, they found when this city was not occupied, then they have big chunk to cut, share, and sell, and be able to induce this money to the public or give public those plots. So they were able to come out
away with it.
But today there is no single plot you can Majua can rely on. Equal myself. So you must rely with your pocket. When it becomes dry, you do what?
You run away.
You run away or steal.
Oh yeah, steal is actually the option that is at hand.
You go to prison. Let's talk a good game.
I know we cannot talk much about this, but let's get to the subject of the day, cracking the whip. One, while it could be true, and we are looking forward to see what it is that the courts will declare, that Governor Mike Sonko might have, taken part, in all these alleged, of course, cases that have been leveled against him. There's a general feel also from a certain quarter that this is a political witch hunt, that probably when he was well with the people in government, the whip was not cracked heavy on him. But now that he is out, it seems like it is the case. Do you think it's a fair way to treat your former governor?
It's a case of police unabeba nini.
Okay.
Do you know that?
Yes.
Police, they are known to be asking people, what are you carrying? When they meet you on the road, you have a bag, they suspect you've carried something that they don't allow you to walk around with.
Yes.
And the police hawatakupata kila mara. So the day they meet you is when they'll ask you that question, unabeba nini? Yeah, so I look at it as a situation where the government just caught up with him and just wanted to know what is he carrying. And that there's a process that has to take place. So when this process is taking place,
it is not
the law provides that he has to be taken through the court process, and all this happening now is the court process. Maybe the magistrates who is appearing before them are the ones who should tell us more why they are not allowing him bond so that he can go from. But taking him through the court process to know really whether the allegations are true or not, well, that's normal. That's a process that everybody goes through.
Very many allegations. He was probably at least allowed bond on one. But, I mean, honestly.
ATPU. That is an anti-terror crime unit.
Yes.
Yeah. So if Sonko, if the court and the DPP have a reason to believe that Sonko participated in a terror-related matter, it doesn't matter which political position he holds. It doesn't matter. That one, we as Kenyans should know that the sovereignty of this nation overrules any individual, including the president. That's why the Constitution of 2010 gave the sovereignty to the people. It moved it from the president to the people.
Been here long enough, I am sure, and some of the questions that arise are, I mean, these people did not know this prior. When we talk about the cases, the fact that he escaped from jail and all this.
I want one thing to actually Kenyans to know, that we cannot live in a country where we put why now as a defense of every activity taking place.
All right.
Why is it that all of a sudden Kenyans are now singing this song of why now, why now, why now, why now? Anything happening, why now? Anything happening, why now?
But
does it mean
why
they should tell us when was this supposed to happen?
Okay.
They should tell us when was this supposed to happen then? Because not everything will happen at the same time. Everything happens at its own time. You see, even me probably have issues with the government right now, but probably they have not decided to come for me. Maybe they'll come for me tomorrow. You never know.
All right.
All of us go through these processes. It's not that we have to ask why now.
Politics
when it
is a
comes
very
to
special
you.
one.
You know, let me tell you, in 2010,
yes.
in 2010, Sonko was a member of Senate.
MP.
He was a member of parliament for Makadara, yes. And had a case in the office myself. I went through it. And I'm done with it. I'm free now. So when I see people asking why now, I ask myself, why are people saying why now when these things come to you?
Such is politics and such is the law. Sometimes it is necessary to question the times. True or false?
Reader,
Yes.
allow me also to interject. And I will always be happy to go to advice from the panelists because of one or two considerations. That one, politics is a game, and
Hold it, Mahesh. I'm told that they have to fix your microphone. There's a bit of a hitch there. Let's come back to you. Is it almost obvious that time?
The conversation
is a
of the
factor?
day is about cracking the whip.
Okay. Yes.
At what time should it be cracked?
Okay.
Is when there's a reason to crack. Yes? Since we have laws, we blame the executive and the government organs for not taking action. But when they take action, we ask, we start questioning, why now? Yet, I've looked at a police station. I have a friend of mine who's an investigating officer. He travels because before he left police station A, was transferred to police station B, he had cases that he was, that he was prosecuting in court. Now he is here in police station B. He has other new cases. Okay. So this one officer has like 15 cases in court already, and there are more being reported every day. So you realize when you talk about EACC, the number of cases that they are investigating every day, and we are forgetting that that those agencies, those state agencies, do not deal with politicians only. They deal with all of us. What media has done, it has glorified politicians into their headlines.
Okay.
But if you take politicians from page A to page 10, then you realize there are so many other cases at page 10 that are not being highlighted by the media. When you ask yourself today that those people, Nabwaigoro and all those others who are Akinangilo and the rest who are laid off for corruption cases, we no longer follow them. But a day will come when
this
they
will be revised.
Yes, when now media will have it on the limelight.
Will it be the media, or will it be that day has come and now maybe? I mean,
that day will come.
We've seen the directions that Sonko has been
business
taking.
that media has is to sell news. And you look for news that you think
we
can
do not
sell.
Look for news. This is news that is out here on the broad daylight. In the broad daylight,
yes.
It is fair that we inform you and we update you.
Let me tell you, Linda. The day you went to court to cover Sonko, there were other people there. Why didn't you cover after Sonko's story? Why didn't you cover even those who were within the court? But you understand the prominence. He's a public figure. So we cannot overlook that. That's why we are saying you sell news that can sell. Because if you tell them somebody small was also there with Sonko, nobody will buy that newspaper.
We sell news that is important to the
about
people.
that person.
This is my former governor. Don't you think I would be interested to understand?
He's your former governor, but he's also a celebrity. He's known all over in the country. So when you write his name in the newspaper, even somebody in the village
but if it is you,
will want to buy that newspaper. You know.
Are you also in the same category? If it were you, I would still be following. You know.
Exactly.
Mine was sold. Even during my day, my newspaper sold a lot.
Yes,
it did.
Exactly. But that does not justify. But that does not conclude.
It was not justified because during that time, I was in court with so many government officers, so many of them, very senior. But it is my name that was appearing in the newspaper.
I go back to the question. I go back to the question of time. And in politics, time is crucial.
Right.
And the way events play out is equally very crucial. And today, Kenyans are waiting to see, all right, if he goes for sanitization somewhere in Capitol Hill, will it be a different conversation for him, or it will be the same conversation as it is today? And that is based on the aspect of time. At this particular time, what political side do you incline to? What other side are you in? And in most cases, we've seen such occurrences playing out based on such. And so it is almost hard for us to overlook the aspect of time. And I'm not trying to say that this is what we should incorporate on this. And I think we'd look at it at, a general perspective in regards to the conversation at large, even as we incorporate this one on what played out at the Senate.
That's where I want you media people to help Kenyans by doing what you call investigative journalism.
Right.
You come to City Hall, for example, now. Ask how many investigations are going on, how many cases are going on now, which are not in the public limelight. So many of them.
Yes.
Investigations, it's a process. And a time will come when you'll see the anti-corruption coming to City Hall and carrying like 10 officers at one go. That will be a big news, because it is that day that the completion of investigation was done, and then they decided to come for them now for questioning. But when the investigation starts, they come, they ask for documents, they come and interview people there. Nobody knows this.
Sometimes we're even invited, we're told, come,
you're invited to come and write a statement. You stay there the whole day. Nobody knows about that. It's very quiet. It's kept under wraps. But when it comes for you to be arrested, even the anti-corruption, you people have become buddies with them. During the arrest is when they call you. When they call you with cameras everywhere to cover somebody has been arrested. But they don't call you. They don't call you when they come for investigations. And then you people also report only when they have allowed you to report.
You understand the sensitivity that comes with investigations.
Even now.
Gakuya, let's look in the Honorable Gakuya. We come to you on this subject.
Yeah, but I don't know whether my mic is...
It is ready, that's why I engaged you. Yes,
yes. Thank you. Read down this one. I was saying that reading between the lines, you understand where we are coming and probably where we are now. And these games of politics, I told you it works. And Sonko is now dying a death he created his own, because he rattled the snake. How did he rattle the snake? You have heard him publicly making very august statements that are invoking even the head of state. And I can tell you, if there is something that we are not supposed to do, we must respect the symbols. And we have no symbols in this country. We have only a single symbol of presidency, which is head of state. You may not respect Uhuru as a person, but the symbol has to be protected. But in fact, there is some issues, there's some element of utterances you can make, and surely you find yourself on a very bad situation. And therefore, whatever Sonko is undergoing now, he created it. And he made it. So surely, I am sure that there is no any case in this Republic of Kenya unbearable. And therefore, all circles that is being taken through are circles just to make sure that he feels it. He feels the pain. Because no single judge could tell us that cases of any single corruption, murder, or even what we call robbery stroke two, they are bearable in Kenya. And therefore you can't tell me why is Sonko doing that behind the bars up to now.
All right.
What you can say, Linda, is that you're asking about time. Time is a very key factor in our lives.
Yes.
And Honorable Gakuya said there's no case that is not bailable in Kenya. That is very true. What also he has to tell us that for a magistrate to give bail, there are certain things that must be done, background checks. There are people who, by the corridors of court language, call them flight risk. If it was if it was not somebody known, they would not even allow you to go because they fear you have. And you know also, Sonko has some history also with prison thing and escape things. You know, these things are also there. So maybe the police want to do some background check to know. And you know, when Sonko was outside here, and more so when he was the governor of Nairobi, probably you covered him in one of his functions. Sonko was surrounded by almost 100 men, who most of them were armed. You know, that's an army that is surrounding you. You when that army is taken away from you, then you remain kind of naked. And then now when the police were looking for you for a few questions here and there, they now say this is an opportunity, now let's get him to ask him these questions, because maybe politicians, you know, arresting a politician is not something easy. Right. Anaweza jizingira na watu wake ushindwe kumshika. A lot of times, even the anti-corruption, they have come for us in our houses. To arrest a politician from the residence is never easy. Right. They time us in town because the residents will come and surround that place. You can't get away with them. Okay. So maybe it's just a process that is taking place. Maybe today or tomorrow they will release him. Remember the Joey case. How many days did Joey stay in prison? Joey is not a politician, but the processes had to be gone through. Yeah. So then Joey was released eventually. He's out, but he stayed close to a year in prison. So we can't say it's something that happening to Sonko alone. Right. It's only that Sonko is a figure that is known and is getting news coverage. But even himself, he will tell you there are people he's meeting right inside prison there who are telling him, I've been here for more than 1 year now. They have not given me bond. He can come, if he's sincere enough, you can come.
I mean, he has several counts on his head, so also
so
that
police,
is one
they
thing,
have a process they also have to undertake before they tell the magistrate, now you can release him, because there's also an element of interference with this active investigation. There's also an element of somebody refusing to show up again after getting the bond. These are fears that are with the police system. And so I would not want to make it look like it is the state, or because he mentioned the head of state somewhere. The head of state or not the head of state, the laws remain, and these laws actually at the end of the day, they are not for Sonko alone. They are for all Kenyans. Okay. And in those quarters where Sonko is now, he's not alone. He's with people who are equally complaining of the same problem. If you say now you want to go to prison to check people who are complaining they have not been given their bond, you'll be shocked. There are
very many. We've had those cases. And you know very important things.
Probably those who are behind the bar without being given bonds. Don't forget that actually maybe there are those who have no defense lawyers to seek for their bills. And once you are not represented, probably you have also some kind of handicaps. And therefore, I would say if the law has been followed to the letter, you don't have to have somebody in 2 years behind the bar in what we call a remand. If that fellow have requested for bail, yes, because the laws are very clear. They all, including murder and robbery stroke 2, are bailable. And if are bailable, the judges have a room to look for your background, which has a timeline, and at least reports have been made back to the court. And I don't expect an investigation is been for 2 good years. Waiting for what?
No, that's another thing. Yes. But remember also, we've also looked at bonds and bonds and bails as one of the key things that in a way slows down the fight against corruption, because you find that these people walk out scot-free and the bail, bond, and all this.
I want to point a matter here that will give you a clear picture of where we are taking this nation. We've discussed Sonko for 20 minutes.
Yes.
How much money, how much taxpayers are we talking about when we put Sonko as a topic? Page 9 of the Daily Nation. Yes. AG wants KEMSA officials probed over 7.6 billion COVID cash scam. We've not discussed it.
Yes.
We will not.
Yes.
That is the scenario.
But we've discussed KEMSA for the longest of time, remember.
Okay,
and like he says, we do not get answers.
We've discussed Sonko every day. Almost every day he makes headlines, we are talking about him. So I'm looking at it from that perspective. How much are we putting people's interest?
As leaders.
Yes, as leaders.
And generally, yes.
And generally. We are talking about Sonko as a person. So how much money are we talking about when we discuss Sonko? What impact is it on people's welfare when we discuss about him?
Yeah.
Vis-a-vis 7.6 billion.
Well,
so, and that is where I want to conclude on that matter.
Yes.
That is where me and Mheshimiwa here, we are saying that the media must also help us reduce the political glorification of individuals in Kenya.
Remember, when we're looking at this, we do not want to focus much on Sonko. And let it be very clear. In fact, my next question was about what it is that he mentioned, that sometimes we find that these leaders work with goons, millions of them, and then we ask ourselves, are we breeding militias at the level of the counties? Then we get ourselves having conversations on just how powerful are our governors. That one might have culminated
Governors
from
have
the
been
Sonko
arrested.
talk, might have culminated from the Sonko talk, but it's on a larger perspective of the 47 counties. Equally on matters politics, and that is what we're talking about, cracking the whip, as we come to this one on the Senate, brings us to this conversation. It's got nothing to do with Sonko, an individual, and that's why we said, today he's in Parliament, the next day he'd want to be as an MCA. And so in the event that this happens to him, or it is happening to somebody else, would he speak of the same, or would he utter the same sentiments when it happens to him? And probably that brings us to this conversation. Yes, and I know this one is very important, it's crucial, but how many times have we spoken about KEMSA? Just how much is being done? Remember, President Uhuru Kenyatta gave out an ultimatum of 21 days.
Yeah.
It is how many days after?
How many times have we, even on social media?
Yes.
How many times or how many mentions do we talk about politicians vis-a-vis things that count to us? It's not only about media.
You see,
even as citizens,
almost everything.
even as citizens,
Yeah.
when we ask ourselves, 47 governors, I think over 10 have cases in court.
Yes.
Yes, so they are not above the law. Remember, Kenya, we are moving from a state where the president was above the law, so he protected his political supporters using that clause, to a place where today the president is not above the law, and the constitution and the constitution protects all of us. So for us to change that mindset from those days when the president could pardon a politician to today where the president cannot save a politician from an offense.
Yes.
That is where we are today now. And where we are headed is where a politician will be another public officer. Like you, people in media, want to be seen like any other employee, not like you have, because today, and one of the reasons why we should start looking at it that is because Kenyans, we have had a scenario where I'm a crook, and the only way to hide is go to politics. Go to Capitol Hill for Mosho Moja, as we talk about it,
right.
Or go to UDA rally for public protection. And that's why one day we are talking about Mosho Moja, the other day we are talking about why now. It depends with where the political side you come from or you belong. So if we kill that, we can honestly face off that issue of thinking that a governor who should have, I think, 3 armed officers, then come in with 100 armed officers. Yet, we do not see that as a terror threat.
Goko, you will agree with me that yes, that is also one thing. And you know, conversations run nations. And so in this case, it is only for us to have such conversations to a point where we'll acknowledge why have we been talking about Sonko for quite a long while, yet we are not benefiting. Then there, we have our minds open up and we proceed to the next conversation that would be helpful to us. And I'd want to believe then, for that very reason, I'm afraid we might not run away from talking again about these politicians. And while Goko could be castigating this, he's amongst the first people who sent me that Jubilee letter on the purge on these particular senators. To mean that it was cause for concern. There was need for us to have a conversation revolving around this. And so when we talk about cracking the whip, this is not just happening in Jubilee. It is equally happening in the likes of other parties, ODM, and it has been happening for quite a long while. It is only necessary that we discuss this. And you started by saying that sometimes some of these politicians do not align to the ideas of the parties. And sometimes some of these ideas are fronted in their absence. So Why segregate them if they're members of this particular party?
Why are you absent in your party?
Now that's the question. Some of them tell you they were not invited.
You are an absentee member.
Yeah.
How do you
Not an
expect
absentee member. You
how
were
do you
not
expect to be a member when you are not there?
Do you agree to that?
Things are happening and you are not there.
You were not invited. Would you agree to the fact that sometimes things happen and you're not there? Why?
That's a lie.
What DW must understand, there is always way of communication.
Yes.
If it is whipping members of parliament, there is the way that they are being whipped, and that communication is done to everybody. And if that communication is done halfway, has not done to you, you force yourself to a meeting you are not invited. And in this particular case, there is those invitations that you can only enter with that message of invitation. If you don't have it, you'll be crossed out.
Okay.
And therefore, I cannot stand to say that these members were invited or not, because I have no clue about it. If they were invited and they decided otherwise, then I can say they went against the will of the party. But if the party decided not to invite them, only to fix them through that particular backdoor or orthodox means, then it is wrong.
Okay. Yes. All right.
Sorry, Mheshimiwa. I'm looking at this scenario in a different perspective. I'm looking at the political farm in Kenya that is undergoing a transition from the old might to new might. When I look at the new mites that were birthed by the old might owners of political power, but when they came in, the old might declined to create a room for them within their house. These are a precedent that has happened in most democratic nations. When you go to the US, and you can see when the Democrat Party realized that the new might have to be incorporated in them, they molded Obama, and he became one of the youngest presidents in America.
Okay.
When you go to South Africa, and ANC declined to create space for new might within their party, they walked out. The Marema and the like, they walked out. And today, yes, they have the EFP, Economic
Party.
Yeah. So it's something that is happening across the world. If you go our neighbors here in Uganda, look at what happened to the ruling party. When they could not create a small room within their own house for these new might, they walked out, Akina Bobby and the rest. So today, ODM, Ford Kenya, Jubilee, all of them are taking that precedence of this new might is being rebellious in quotes.
Okay.
It's being rebellious in quotes. And the best we can do is to throw them out. But you cannot throw out your own child.
What is this new mind that we're talking about in particular?
New mind is new ideologies to doing things.
Okay.
We must own up to that. There's always a new ideology to doing things. Even in media, you realize that part of your colleagues, maybe not in this station, but in other stations, they have, they have faced the crack, they have faced the whip because of maybe they had a way of doing their things, which is new might. I'm in studio, and at the same time I have a Facebook page that I have to promote. So that one is X, because that is the old might of doing things. But now here we have a new might of doing it. The more we keep on, the more we keep on fighting these new mites, the more squatters we keep creating, the more squatters a political party will keep on making within its own political farm. And the sooner they realize that, the better for them.
All right.
All political parties, they have to realize that in Kenya. Otherwise, we might end up with more independent candidates who might become squatters within their own house. And at the end of the day, the old might owners will never find peace.
Independent candidates would be good, but would it be good for the ruling party to have very few members in the House? Because, well, as it is, that is probably where it is headed. And sometimes it would be hard to twist them to get into your party if you're the person who's ruling at that point.
Well, I think the Kenyan constitution does not give much power to the independent candidates.
Yes.
And that will leave us with no choice but to join parties. Only that when we join parties, we have to make ourselves invitable. When
Which
these
in
things,
most
when
cases
these
is
things
not,
happening,
when these things are
you
happening, yes.
cannot behave in a manner that you are not cooperative, and you expect to be invited, where cooperative people are seated, then you go and disorganize them. Sometimes these things happen. It is politics, and it happens everywhere. This thing is not happening to Jubilee only. Linda, sometime last year, it happened in Ford, Kenya.
Yes.
Even Wetangula himself, he found himself.
No DM.
He found himself.
It's still happening. It's still going
so
on.
it's all over.
Right.
So let people not look at it like this is now politics. You know,
But
what
you
I'm
see, our
seeing
biggest problem is that this is the ruling party. This is the government of the day. And we ask ourselves, within the government, is there somebody else who's running a parallel government?
Government of the ruling, of the ruling day, the more reason they should clean their house.
Yes.
That's the more reason they should clean their house.
And this is cleaning
you cannot run a government. You cannot run a government when you have people who are pulling different directions, and you want to move one direction. It's normal. Even you in your house, if you have a child that every day you say you should report home at 7 in the evening, latest you don't come, then they keep coming late, you will crack the whip at some point.
Is there someone who's running a parallel government within?
Rita, let me tell you, parties are owned by party memberships. Because let me tell you.
Where will you be submitting your amounts this time around? UDA? Or
I will just stop.
No, he's a new DA. He's a new DA. He's a new DA.
You will not submit the 10,000 anywhere, not Jubilee, not...
Linda, he's a new, for now he will stop, but I know from tomorrow he'll be...
And I'd love to understand, I'd love to understand that if you're sitting in parliament in capacity of Jubilee and you stop submitting your finances,
I mean, what if
you cease to be a member?
That's protecting
you cease to be a member.
Yeah, when you don't subscribe.
But they say again, they're not going to leave Jubilee.
You know, it is same members of the party that Honorable Gakwe is talking about that make the laws for the party. Like in ODM, we have a constitution that governs the party.
Yes.
And if you go against that constitution, it doesn't matter who you are. The constitution will deal with you. So it should not look like there's somebody on top of the party who is dealing with others. It is the constitution that those members actually created to help them govern that party. And that constitution, they left to the office managers. It's not with the politicians.
In the case we are, me, I'm a member and a full member of the Jubilee Party.
But now, when you stop submitting
Linda, allow me to speak myself.
Okay.
I have been always repeating that actually we are not learning our parties from the moon. We run our parties here. And actually, people are witnesses that it becomes a time when party does not recognize that it has members. Decisions are made by 2 or 3. Well, there is a team that is entitled to be making decisions. But part of the team is being sidelined with making decisions. We have witnessed Deputy President as the Deputy Leader of Jubilee moving to the Jubilee House to consult how they will be able to fill a candidate from Sabweni.
Yeah.
And we found a Secretary General tweeting that already decision is made elsewhere that they are not going to fill a candidate there. Then you are telling me that party is a party which is being led in the right direction. If you are not involving the directors of the party, it's like you have a company, and the company have 5 number of directors, and 2 number of directors are the people taking shots of the company. That company will fail because why are you signing the rest of the directors and they are part of the same? Otherwise, close that particular company, give the rest their shares, and
if sidelined in ODM today, wouldn't you be
Linda, let me remind Honorable Gakuya.
Yes.
And it's good that we joined the council with him the same year. Right. I want Honorable Gakuya to remember very well the party that was called Nak Mwenge, and how we reached a situation where we had bananas and oranges. That is how ODM party was formed. Okay. The same things he's saying here now are the same things that were did to Raila Amolo Odinga. When he had fought so much to put Kibaki in power, Gakuya and his friend, Gakuya in front, I was with him. Gakuya and his friends were the same people who were blocking Raila from getting his rightful share of the party. And that is how now, when they brought the constitution, then the symbols were banana and oranges. We ganged up as ODM and we beat them to their own game. Right. And Raila did not complain that I'm a part and parcel of this government. Now you are denying me. Raila walked out. Remember, Raila walked out with all his cabinet. And everybody who was in ODM who was given any slot, they all resigned and went away. Yes. Why can't Gakuya and his brothers do the same and leave Uhuru alone?
Okay, see, leader, you know, the Jubilee Party Constitution I read it, I think last week, batch one. The deputy party leader deputizes the party leader on affairs delegated to him or her by the party leader. The National Governing Council, if I'm not wrong, or is it the National Management Council, one of it, committee, makes decisions for the party, then trickles them down. The party leader for Jubilee Party has power to work with other political parties. It is only the party leader who has that power.
Which he has done.
On behalf of the party.
Yes.
So the Mswabeni case was a case of the party leader working with other political parties, ODM for that matter.
Why not inform the deputy?
Then, how sure are we that the deputy was not informed?
He declared.
No.
Okay, well.
Remember, Bomas Uhuru told us that he
was
all along he had been briefing the DP on the issue of BBI, and the DP was keeping us busy that he doesn't know what is happening.
But was he declaring it?
He did not deny in front of Uhuru. They were all there.
Open to say that he would have not.
He has not denied. From the day Uhuru said that, he has never gone public to deny.
And the president said at Sagana, when the last meeting, when he met the public, the president gave, the president spoke about it. He said at Bomas, ile wakati nilianza kusema mambo ya BBI, alikuja akaniambia wacha hiyo mambo, because he realized that the president was speaking the truth. So we cannot sit here and say that he was not informed by the party leader about the decision not to field a candidate in Mswabeni. When the party itself in Nairobi fielded a party, what did he do? He endorsed a UDA candidate.
Yes.
In Nakuru County, Ladan Ward and Lakeview Ward, he held a fundraising luncheon for UDA candidates against his party, Jubilee Party. In fact, I am blaming Jubilee Party and registrar of political parties for not cracking the whip as it should. And what we should accept here is the bureaucracy in democracy abuses democracy.
Hold it right there. Then we want to understand,
but
as a merger, Jubilee coming together, but within themselves also, just how much of a leeway does the Constitution award individuals that sit within a certain party, one, to come up with other parties while they're still in these particular parties, two, to field candidates or to support certain individuals while their main party supports this. And just how much can we say that all these parties that were merged to be Jubilee, were merged, and that now they should work as Jubilee as opposed to, in their own special capacity also working as those particular individual parties?
One reader, let me say the law is very clear that it gives a law for correction of parties before election or after.
Okay.
So what you do is that once you make a correction agreement, you have to restart particular agreement to the registrar of parties, so that the guidelines that you have put actually can be able to guide the registrar on agreements and at what point this has to be done. And this is what happened during when the Jubilee corrupts all their small parties, including the DP's party and the likes, and they created one big party, which is now the Jubilee.
Yeah.
And that particular memorandum is well listed the registrar's office. What happens today, Rita, is that out of that memorandum, it's like totally some element within the party decided now to sideline part of the rest and calling shots directly without considering that this was a correction party. And that's where things went wrong and that's where the rain started falling on us. Because surely you can't tell me that actually I am just a sycophant being called a deputy party leader, and I have no say in my party. It tells me that that's a total disgrace. And let me tell you, I corrupt my party, my full party, joining this party. and I have no say in this coalition.
What stops him from having the say? I mean,
No, in this particular
let's
case,
acknowledge from the word go.
Yes, what makes this is that then the curtains are being closed, that you cannot be able to say that. The Secretary General is the record, telling the Deputy President not to hold even conferences in the Jubilee office.
Hold it right there. Let's take a quick break and then come back, finish up in about 10 minutes or so. This is something I've heard for the longest of time. We keep saying, why don't you exit the stage if it is that bad?
I have repeated twice and thrice that actually we are living in this country. And I can tell you, immediately the Deputy President decided to get out of this particular government, I can tell you he will be hunted like antelope. And let me tell you, you have seen withdrawal of his security in some areas that actually he visits. It shows you that tomorrow, if we decide to move out of the government, the manner in which he's being treated when he is a member, when he is a Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, if he's been given such a disgrace, such kind of disrespect, how do you think he'll be treated?
Why would they hunt him if he's clean?
I can tell you for sure.
Exactly.
I can tell you for sure.
Why?
Today,
It's the fear of unknown.
Is there fear? No.
Why would they hunt him if he's clean?
Yes.
No,
He is clean.
Reader,
Then
allow me.
why fear?
Now, allow me, reader.
Okay.
Yes, we have seen Sonko and his kind of.
But you have said these are troubles that he caused to himself, and
Very
we have
well.
seen records that indicate that indeed these are some of the things that he caused. And so in this case, I do not remember any occurrence where the DP has incriminated himself in the public domain. And so why would...
I am telling you, this is not an issue to do with even arresting him.
Okay.
But he will not be able to do any public rally. He is not going to be. And let me tell you, the government will gang completely and seal. And let me tell you, he will not be allowed to do any gathering.
After all, his term is almost
Linda,
done. So what will happen then?
Linda, you know Honorable Gakuya is my friend. He's my brother. We have been with him in this game for a long time. But I want to send him to his UDA people.
Yes.
That they should learn politics from one Raila Amolo Odinga. Most of the people there now are his students. You know, Raila in early 90s, he resigned from his position as a member of parliament for Kibera. He went back to the ballot with a different party. He fought tooth and nail. He won that seat. In 2004, when Kibaki shortchanged him, with the help of some of Gakuya's brothers, he walked out with all of his team. And he said, now you are bringing constitution which is not favorable to the people. We are going to go against you when we are out here. He did not say we are fighting you when we are with you. No, he said because I believe in the people. He's saying
this is calculative. Probably they have learned from him and they've realized that this moving out was
there's
not
one thing he's
Raila.
saying. He's saying that they have some issues that when they leave government, the government will penalize them. That is fear of unknown. They should know they are clean. If they are clean, they are clean. If they are not clean, it's a time bomb. It will come.
Yes.
At the end of the day, it will come. Even Sonko did not know that when he leaves the government, these things will come. But he knew he had records that the government needed to check. Only that time will tell. But for them, it's important, as they believe in the people. They keep telling us they have masses outside there. They have the hustlers nation. They call it hustler nation. Why can't they just walk out as the hustler nation and face Uhuru from outside instead of troubling him from inside?
He has explained that. Let's go back to
that
history
fear,
briefly. Yes?
that fear of being victimized,
Why they
in
fear
quotes, does not exist. It is a fallacy that they are using to remain.
They say also is a strategy they are using to be allowed chance to traverse the different paths, looking at the ultimate goal.
Because government agencies today still have power to stop a meeting. They stopped the Kisii meeting.
Yes.
So it doesn't mean that they cannot duplicate that.
That is
they
just
can.
an example.
But,
let me try and defend me. Yes.
The moment, and I repeat, the moment we start creating imaginary enemies, the moment we start creating non-existent ideologies, the moment we start moving slogans into theories, the moment we start saying that we have 169 MPs who attended a parliamentary meeting in Karen, so that moment of creating imaginary power, That moment of saying we are this, when in the reality you are not. Because Raila himself, let's even look at a different politician, Musalia. Now, Musalia left UDF, went formed his ANC. He brought in 2017. He has his people.
Do you realize the ultimate goal?
The ultimate
that
goal.
Raila Odinga has not been able to get.
The ultimate goal.
Even has been,
then now the ultimate goal is to get the presidency. Yes. If today you know,
it's not that Raila has not been able to get. They have been stealing it from him. They have confirmed here. Just the other day, they're all confirming that they have been stealing from him all along. So he has been getting it.
So like I said here 2 weeks ago or a month ago, deputy president as a person enjoys power as a deputy president. All other supporters of Hazardous Nation do not enjoy that power. We saw in Kisiwe and Osolo and Arati were fighting. The same Mheshimiwa Gakuya saying that the deputy president is not protected. He had a ring of wrecker squad, armed commandos around him. And they were ready for anything to protect the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. No other MP, Akina Osolo and Akina Arati were throwing legs and hands all over. The state didn't care about them. They cared about the deputy president.
My final submission on this.
30 seconds.
I would say that in fact it is democratic right of the deputy president to decide whether to quit or stay put. Yes,
but it's also abuse of office.
And
for a Jubilee Party member to abuse the constitution of the party that they subscribe to. Because if they have an issue with the party, there is the registrar of political parties to write to. Today, if I'm a member of ODM and I have an issue with the party, I write to the party. If the party does not respond, there is even the Political Parties Act even gives us the political parties tribunal. So we have a process that I can use.
And reader, I can tell you, we have systems, we have deep states, which micromanaged. It micromanaged even the registrar office.
As I wind up, I want to send a message through my brother that the only reason why they are not quitting is because the numbers that they keep telling us they have
don't exist.
They don't have those numbers. Those are people who are paid to come, and they fear that if they walk out, somebody will give them a bigger offer and they will not be available for them anymore. So if they think that they have those numbers, in town we say, kama wanajinauo vile wanajua wanajinauo, wamonchoke wakuje mtaani tuwaone.
I can tell you, by the end of this year, reader, you find all of us cross there.
By the end of this year, because one, their loans will have they will have serviced their loan. 2, they'll have gotten into a campaign mood. 3, there'll just be 4 months to parliament being dissolved. So in short, they will not be walking out. They'll be going to campaign for themselves. So to me, in conclusion, they are cowards. They are cowards.
Exactly. It's like we're starting another show, right?
They are cowards. They are hypocrites. And they do not. They are not supporters of.
No, 30 seconds at most, Mheshimiwa.
Me, what I would say is that nobody is coward. I am telling you that actually we built the house together. And let me tell you, we cannot move out of this particular party. If you want us to move out, give our share. We'll move out.
All right. Let's close it at that. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Honorable James Gakuya, Member of Parliament, Embakasi North. Unajua kujinauo na kumonchoka, that on the sidelines will teach you that. And of course, Irungu Goko, who's the governance expert. And lastly, the Deputy Nairobi Speaker, that is Honorable Geoffrey Majiwa. It was good having you this morning. It is a whole different affair that we're walking into after this break, where we discuss money matters for the youths, but not before I remind you of the incredible offers that we have for Valentine's right here on Morning Cafe. On Friday is going to be a special one for you as we usher in the weekend of love in style. Lots of goodies from Valentine's Cake House. We'll be awarding you people cakes so that you can celebrate with the people that you love. We do not forget what it is that Mizizi Africa Homes is giving you.